I bought this 5-in-1 reflector that we're gonna use to diffuse our Aputure 1,000,000D. You see that? That's the sun. They used that in the Middle Ages way back when. And I'm also thinking I can hang this on the chair as well. What I could try to do, which I haven't tried to do before, so I'm not very experienced in doing negative fill. But you can flip this inside out the other way. Then I can put that there. Does that do anything? Maybe if I move it closer. I think it does something. Maybe if I move it closer here. Yeah, that actually does something. Look, that's with and then that's without. So it definitely created some sort of shadow. And then that's gonna be there. This is gonna be over here. And then this is probably gonna be, oh, it's windy. It's blowing. That's gonna be somewhere right there. Look at that. See that shot? My #1 objective is to get a perfect shot of it just rotating. Once I get that, then we can edit and have fun with it. That's the #1 objective starting now. Let's dig. All right, now I'm shooting it with a shutter speed of 1/60. ISO is at 800 and it's very blown out, if you can see that on this little screen there. So right now I have a base ISO of 800, and then I gotta bring my aperture up so that it can be exposed correctly. And I also want to bring my little Screamy Jim, because that's going to be around there, and I want to expose for that, so I have to hold this with one hand. It actually looks pretty good. I'm a little overexposed on this, so I'm going to bring my aperture down just so I can see that oat milk. Alright, and I'm liking that. I'm liking the way that looks. Okay, now I'm already recording. Stop it. And now I'm going to give her a little squirt, because this is cold thing. I want to make it look like we're not in broad daylight. All right, this cost me $0 to make. So let's see. Maybe I should bring this a little bit. There's a shadow on my green screen right there because of those trees, and I don't know how I want to fill that in. I might have to move the whole setup. All right, so we had a shadow on our green screen when we were over there because of the trees up there casting a shadow. So now there's no shadow, there's no shade either, so it's very hot and there's a lot of mosquitoes because we're in Florida. Now I have the shot set up. You can see it's overexposed. If I bring this up, then we should be good in that aspect of it. So I'm gonna hold it up like this. You can see it gives us a good cover. Actually, I need it to be like here but not covering up the green screen. And now I need to bring my exposure back up. I think I'm gonna zoom in slightly, and I need to hold it right there. And then I can go ahead and start the Lazy Susan. Click that on and begin the rotations. Alright, now that should be good. I went ahead and stopped my camera already. Now the horrible part is taking your SD card out and putting it in the computer and hoping that you got the right shot. So let's go do that now. Welcome to Final Cut Pro. This is where I edit all of my YouTube videos and video commercials. I ended up not filming the editing process of the video that you just saw, so I'm going to try and edit it as close as possible in this second go around. So here's the clip that you saw me get in the beginning, and right now I'm trying to find a spot in the clip where everything looks good, where I'm not squirting it with water and it's just like a clean frame for me to use. And then before I do anything else, I'm gonna hit Command B, and that's gonna make a speed ramp, and then I'll have my speed ramp from now on in the edit. For the fast portion of the speed ramp, I ended up going with speeding up the clip to 4,000. Next, I'm going to take care of the masking the can from the background. So now I'm going to go into my effects and type in draw mask, and I'm going to drag that over my clip. This next part is very, very tedious, but you're going to set your control points all the way around the can. You don't have to be as exact when you're going around the green screen, but whenever you go to the bottom of the can where the green screen is not there, you want to try to get as close to the can as possible. And then the next thing that you want to do is you want to set keyframes on the transforms and the control points of your mask, and then go frame by frame and make sure your can is still in the frame, not being cut off by the mask. Now that you have your can masked out all the way, then you can move on to keying out your green screen. And for my green screen, I literally just had a tablecloth, so hopefully this keys out as well as I'm hoping. And then I also realized that I had to adjust my draw mask because it was a little bit off. And then to be completely honest, with the matte tools and the keyer effects, I am not an expert, so I don't feel comfortable giving advice on what to do. I honestly just moved around the dials until it looked good. It was a very frustrating process to learn how to do this. Whenever I do feel more comfortable doing it, I'll definitely share it.
as I want to do my best to share all the knowledge that I have with you. Now for a slightly more exciting part, we get to mess around with the transforms and actually animate this thing. And don't be intimidated by the word animate. We're just going to put in some simple keyframes and make it look like the cans are flying into our frame. The first thing that I'm going to do is hold Option and click and drag the clip above the clip to duplicate the clip so that I have two cans. My idea is to have two cans, one from the top, one from the bottom, and they're both at an angle and they fly into frame while spinning. And it gives it that cool high energy effect. And then I did the same exact thing, the Option, click and drag, and I dragged a clip in front of the two clips because I wanted another clip where it was just a hero shot of it spinning with a slight scale in. I ended up not putting the cans at such a harsh angle, and I think I just eyeballed it and made it look to where it looks the most natural. Now that you have the cans right where you want them to end, then you can start doing your keyframes. And for this one, I wanted them to come into frame relatively quickly, so it was roughly 3 or 4 frames after the beginning of the clip that I had the keyframe end, and I always start at the end and then I adjust the clips after. Once you have your playhead right where you want your animation to stop, then you go over to your transforms and you hit the key button on everything, the position, the scale, and the rotation. Once you have your key buttons selected, then you can take your can and move the y-axis all the way up until it's completely out of the frame. Change the rotation to, I believe it was -180, because I looked at what it was at and it was at -130, so I believe it was closest to -180 to give it the most natural animation to come in. Next, I'll adjust the y-axis until the can's completely out of frame. And congratulations, you just animated your first product video. But we're not quite done yet. So you're going to do the exact same thing that we did for the first can, but instead of -180 for the rotation, you're going to set the rotation to 0, and then same thing with the y-axis. And then voila, you have two cans that are flying into frame and it looks so epic. Now we're going to deal with the last shot, which is the hero shot. I did reference my other video that I edited to try to get the framing just right, because I have to cut out the bottom of the can because the keyer and the draw mask just didn't look good, so I ended up just cutting out the bottom half of the can, but I don't think anybody noticed. And then to make a scale in for this hero shot, we're going to take the same principle that we did for the previous clips about animating them in, and we're going to apply that to this with just adjusting the scale and some of the y-axis as well. And there we are, almost done with this commercial. And then to try to find this company's logo, I went on Google Images and found their logo and downloaded it and put it into the video. And it was really grainy, so I scaled it down and the quality seemed fine for the size. And then I used the custom generator and just made it white so it would blend into the background. Then I found this song on Soundstripe and I thought it sounded good, so I added that to my clip. And then I did this effect on accident and I thought it looked cool, and it's when I took the logo and I split it a bunch of times and separated it so it looked like it went to the beat of the music. And I did this on a complete accident, but then I thought it looked good and then I kept it. And then pretty much the final thing that I did was try to find a background, and this oddly took me the longest because I wanted to have a really cool background, and the solution was almost the simplest solution. So I looked up gradient in my generators and I switched the gradient to a radial gradient, and that looked completely perfectly fine. And there you go, you made it. The video is finally done. Here it is. Hey, I just wanted to say thank you for sticking to the end of this video, and if you like this video and you want to support the channel, then drop a like, hit the subscribe button. That's the best way you can support me and the things that I do on YouTube. Comment down below if you have any other questions. I'm a beginner and I'm wanting to track my progress and try new things. So that's what I'm going to be doing on this channel, is trying new things and trying to push my creativity to the max. See you in the next video. Bye.